Excuse me, class. Class! Shut up!
As we are enjoying a wonderful winter this year, and we are getting to take in so much of God's beautiful creation every single day, we have still been working very hard. We had some disappointment and scares with our chicks this week, and we had to get busy with it. But with a son any father would be proud of, we're turning that ship. Caleb is really showing his advancement in it for his age as he's learning how to take care of his animals. I've been working on a remodel in our basement, and we have some shiplap to make, and this is promising to be a lot of fun as my sons help me out every day, and now we have a couple thousand board feet of shiplap to make. Anaya is making a bread on this episode under 45 minutes, and it is to die for. But first, I have to get my horses running again. I've been without my workhorse for some time, and I have some timber that needs moving and hauling. Class is in session.
Alright, well, I'm out here with my pickup. If you got a diesel truck and you're having a hard time getting it to start, this started for me, I guess, last spring. I realized I would have to try 3-4 times, and then it got to where it was 10 or 15 times, and then I was running my battery down. The last time I started my truck, I had to hook it up with jumper cables to another car because I was wearing my battery down. And I looked around on the internet. I called a mechanic friend of mine and asked him what he thought, and everything I was hearing was saying that it was my my glow plug relay. They tend to go out, especially in these old F250s. He said that they'll go out and it's just not heating up. And what he told me as a test to see if that's what it was, he said plug in the heater that's in the front of your truck. There's a cord over here. You can plug it into a 110 wall outlet, and you plug it in for 4 to 6 hours and see if it'll start. And if it starts, it's your glow plug relay, most likely, or your glow plugs are shot. But he said most likely it's this, because the chances all my glow plugs are shot at once is, hopefully, we're praying that's not the case. I have a lot of timber that needs cutting down on this property. If I don't get them down and start doing something with it, it's just going to rot. That's just all there is to it. So this right here is a workhorse for our homestead. It really is. I need this truck. And again, this is vital. And I'm no mechanic, not even close. So understand, being on a homestead, if you can fix it yourself, do it. It'll save you a lot of money. There's a guy in town. I have no idea what he would charge me to do this. This looks like this is going to be about a 15-minute fix. A mechanic would charge me $50 for this, plus another probably, well, one of our local mechanics here, he would charge another $30 or $40 just for this. So 90 bucks for the part that I can get for 50, and he's going to get the same exact one. And he would probably charge me anywhere from $75 to $100 for installing it. So I don't make $100 to $200 an hour, so this is definitely worth me doing myself. So we're going to pop the hood and we're going to get into it. Alright, so what we're looking for here is that. That is a glow plug relay. I believe it's going to have 2 bolts holding it down here and here, and then just a couple of wires to attach on the top. Should be a very easy fix. Care of that. And there it is right there. I am not a mechanic by any stretch of the imagination, so if I can change this out, so can you. All right. Now you might be able to see it better. Right there. That is what we are undoing today. And the biggest thing is just make sure that all the wires go back to where they're supposed to be going. It's not that hard. There's only four connections you really need to worry about, and then you're on your way. So we're going to start with a 5/16 and take these two off. I've seen a common problem is over tightening these and cracking this housing unit. So we're just going to get it on nice and snug. I don't know, maybe 3-4 pounds of pressure, not much. I don't want to break it. Now let's see if I can get this bad boy to start. So it was the glow plug relay. That took me about 20 minutes because I don't know what I'm doing. If you know what you're doing, that's a 5-10 minute job. So, but now I know what I'm doing. Yay! Woohoo! So I'm excited to get that fixed for such a cheap price. I was really dreading. I was thinking, oh, my glow plugs all have to be replaced. This is going to be a $500 or $600 fix, or at least $300 for the glow plugs, and then I got to tear my engine apart and spend a couple of days trying to figure out how to do all this. So anyhow, she's fixed, she's ready to go, she's ready to work. All right guys, so now it's time for us to we got a lot of stuff in the back of the truck. It looks kind of trashy right now. We got to get this unloaded, and then we got to start scavenging the area for some really good composting material. We want our chickens to have something to do in the coop all day, and they love digging. So all right.
Yesterday, I found a Rhodon red hen. She was 8 weeks old, and she was droopy. Her wings were on the ground, and she wasn't moving, she wasn't eating. So I put her in with the 4 younger chicks, what are not as big and what are getting pecked on, or what are at the bottom of the pecking order. So today I came in to come feed and water them, and I couldn't find her, and she was dead. So right now we're going to go look at a few others I realized had it, and we're going to see if we can find out the problem. And we brought some vitamins, what we used to give them, and we're going to start giving them again. Today we brought down the vitamins so that we fed them, and I totally forgot to bring them down 6 weeks ago whenever we moved them down here and kept giving them it. My dad told me to, and I forgot to. So today we're going to bring it down, and we're going to start putting that in their water, and we're going to put apple cider vinegar to boost their immune system. Right now we're going to check to see if they have pasty butt. No, they don't. They're perfectly good. Everything's too cold. She might be chilled, although it's not that cold in here, but it did snow last night, and it does add a lot of humidity in the air, which makes it's not as cold, but it makes it feel like it's a lot colder. We don't want to lose another one, but this right here is exactly how the other one was acting.
Got your chicken, huh?
Yeah.
You gonna let her go back and eat?
These 4 chicks we put in here, they are starting to get bigger, and Summer's starting to get her neck feathers back. So in the next week or 2, we'll let them out instead of here, and hopefully they'll do better. We have 2 Rhode Island Red hens right here, and including the one that died from last night, and we think they have coccidiosis. It's a parasite which sticks to their intestines. Every chicken has it, but some chickens get it worse than others and actually get sick from it.
She's sick. She's not doing well. So we're gonna take her home and see if we can't get her better. I'm gonna come back and join the rest of these girls.
Hi, Daddy. I'm gonna be in the car waiting. We brought this Rhode Island Red hen up from the barn, and she's been real lethargic. She won't eat, she won't drink, and she's acting like she's real cold. And we think what it is coccidiosis. Improlium is an organic compound used to fight coccidiosis inside of chickens. One of the companies that makes Improlium is Cord. You can find this at one of your local feed stores. This Improlium is meant for cattle, calves, cows, and as 20% Improlium. Chickens only need 9.6% Improlium. So what we're going to do, instead of 2 tablespoons of water and 2 tablespoons of Improlium, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of water and 1 tablespoon of Improlium. We already have 2 tablespoons of slightly warm water inside this cup. Right now we're going to cut the package open and take 1 tablespoon and put it in the cup. And we are going to mix it up and give it to our chicks. More powdery than I thought it would be. This Improlium dissolves really fast, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to put a little bit inside this dropper, and we're going to give our Rhode Island Red hen 2 drops every 2 hours as often as we can, and she's either gonna die or get better. Supposed to do this? Just open up her mouth.
Just lift open her mouth. Just pull her up and put 1, 2. Try to get just 2 drops to go in there, not squirts. Just a couple little drops.
So just put my finger on there.
Just a little bit. A drop's almost coming out right now.
Gosh.
she's drinking it.
Yep, she drank it.
Yep.
We're gonna do this every 1 to 2 hours until she gets better. For the next 10 days, I'm going to be bleaching out the chicks' waters, and I'm going to take a 1/4 teaspoon per a 1/2 gallon water. This is going to prevent the other chicks from getting coccidiosis.
The chick from last night was too far gone, and she did not make it. And we really hate that, because one of these hens will lay between 250 and 300 eggs a year, and at just a mere 50% hatch rate, we could have hatched 125, 150 chicks out of the eggs produced by that one hen. And that's what we're really pushing for right now. So now we're going to head down to the coop and check out the rest, and I'm praying that this is not spreading. If it is, we are going to the vet today, hoping there's a vet available. Usually vets are pretty good about being available for your animals just about any time. So anyhow, time to head down there. Well, we're coming to the store to get us some cleaning products for our chicken stuff.
Those?
Sure.
Like this.
Yeah. And then
Right now we're trying to find soap and a scrub brush for the chicks, and we're going to clean out their water with bleach and soap. We're also going to get a gallon of white vinegar. Is that what?
ah, they're swarming me. Hard to even walk in here. Alright, we're looking at the rest of these pretty girls and boys, and they seem all to be doing much better. I don't see any of them acting lethargic.
Can you just spread this one down the line right here?
These girls are looking a lot better in there.
We're adding the soap and this bleach water to the water we are getting to wash out the glass and the plastic for the chick waters. We're going to scrub this with the brush inside and out to sanitize it. Right now it is 32 degrees. We have our Vital Pack, and we have our Improlium, and we got our apple cider vinegar. What we're going to do is we're going to put very little of the Vital Pack inside of there. It's about 1/6 of a teaspoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon, just judge it. And then we are going to put a little under 1/2 of a teaspoon of the Improlium inside of the 1/2 gallon jar, and a little under 1/4 of a teaspoon inside of the quart jar. So let's do that. And the apple cider vinegar, we're going to fill up this lid cap. for the quart jar and put it inside the half-gallon jar. And we're going to fill this up halfway for the quart jar. We're hoping this will keep them healthy, boost their immune system, and kill off coccidiosis.
Well, now that we're done with the chicks for this morning, and Caleb will be checking on them every hour or two just to make sure we don't have any more getting sick. Now it's time for me to get in the shop. I've got a lot of 1x4 to 1x10 or 12 and everything in between, and we're going to be cutting shiplap out of them and using them for siding in here. I'm going to be starting off with my blue stain white pine. All right, check it out.
Today we're going to show you how to make artisan bread in the Dutch oven.
This is an artisan bread rolled in flaxseed and sesame seed, baked in the Dutch oven. Today I'm going to be making one with rosemary and garlic. This is our homegrown garlic that we harvested from our garden this year, and I also have some of our homegrown rosemary that we also harvested from our garden this year. I don't like following recipes unless it's a new one. Right here I have about 12 cloves of garlic, a whole head, and a handful of rosemary, and I just chopped it up. It looks like a lot of yummy flavors, and I did probably 5 the first time I did it, and half of the handful of garlic, and it didn't have enough flavor, so I doubled it. With this, we're going to be making a delicious rosemary garlic bread. I have 2 cups of lukewarm water and about 2 tablespoons of yeast and 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to whisk this in just a little bit, not too much, so it can sit and let the yeast get activated. You let it sit so you know that your yeast is good. Some people don't do that. We came across a block of yeast that's several years old, and I use it all the time. I just ran out of it, and but I like to make sure that it's still good. And the way you know it's still good is that it is bubbling up like that, sort of. And I only let it sit for a few minutes. 3 to 4.
While we're waiting for that yeast to start getting active and bubbling up, and she's getting the other ingredients together, I just got to point out, this is my oldest daughter, my oldest child. She's 14. She's been cooking since she was knee-high to toed. She has been cooking for a long time. She was probably 18 months, and she used to come and stand next to me. I love cooking. There's times that I just find it very therapeutic, and when I like to cook something big for a lot of people, I will spend 4 to 6 hours just really putting my heart into it and making it as good as I can. But anyhow, she has cooked with me since 18 months old, 2 years old. By the time she was 6, you know, I came home from work on my birthday when she was 6 years old. She had made my entire meal from scratch. Spaghetti sauce from scratch. Tomatoes, peppers, onions, all that. She did the whole thing except pouring out boiling water. So I'm always bragging on my daughter. She is a terrific daughter, and she is an amazing cook. Chicken fried steak. For some of you Yankees, I know you don't know what that is, but it's amazing. She can do it, and she can make chicken fried steak, chicken fried chicken. She can make pies and cakes and breads, and She makes up just random stuff. So we're going to be showing off her cooking skills as well as her mother's cooking skills. I may step in at times and show you some of mine. But anyhow, back to the bread.
I have turned the oven on for 200 just for a few minutes, and I'm going to turn it off, and then I'll put my dough in there and let it rise. The yeast has risen. This is what it should look like when it's done. I'm going to add some salt. I don't really measure how much it is, probably about a teaspoon. The recipe actually calls for 1 to 2 teaspoons. And then you need to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can use butter or any other oil. I use olive oil. And you're going to go ahead and add your herbs and stuff. You don't have to add herbs, but when you're making like an Italian dish or something like that, it's always nice to have herbs in it, and I like the way it tastes. And I'll just mix that together. We are using all-purpose flour. You can use grounded up wheat flour, but we don't have that right now. And I add about 4 to 5 cups of it. And I'll add whatever else I need after it's done rising. And I use a spoon for that. I don't like getting it out of the whisk. And that's all. With the oven turned off but heated up, I'm going to put the dough in to rise. It's been just over 20 minutes and I'm pulling the bread out. Okay, it's done rising, so I'm just going to knead it and put it in its shape. The bowl is a little hot. So it's good. I added the flour because it was too sticky and it wasn't holding its form very well. I have preheated the oven to 350 and I have oiled this pot with olive oil. Just drizzle it in. Now I am going to make my loaf of bread into a circle. I'm just pinching together bottom of the dough that I brought down. Okay. I have got to the shape I wanted and I'm just going to put it inside my Dutch oven. Now the recipe says to let it rise for another 20 to 30 minutes, but I just stick it in my oven and it rises as it cooks and it turns out beautiful. This is me and my mother's favorite Dutch oven. It is beautiful and it works wonderful. It is Pioneer Woman's turquoise Dutch oven. You can find it in a link in the description below. I don't keep the lid on it. I tried to the first time, but it didn't. It wasn't browning as well, so I took it off, and it browned perfectly. I'm just going to put it in the oven, and it will rise as it's cooking. And the recipe says to cook it for about 20 to 30 minutes. I take it out when it is hollow and golden brown. It's been in there for about 20 to 25 minutes. I take it out as soon as it gets done because I don't want the bottom to get all sweaty. And I just flip it onto a plate. And that's all.
Is that heating up all the way?
Yeah.
Alright. Give me that drill.
Are these the things like what Tom has?
Mm-hmm. Ow!
I was just about to say, you better watch your food.
I think it's looking pretty good. I've had a few mess ups, but I'm happy with it so far. Very happy with it. I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I wish there was another way I knew of to secure the ends besides a screw. I'm going to be putting in the middle of the boards, at least on every other stud or so. I'll be coming back with some brad nails to secure them, but I mean, it's on there, it's not going anywhere. And now I just need to get about 3-4 times as much of this wood cut down to shiplap, and I can finish this section of the wall. I still have that section over there. I've started this one here and I need to finish it, but if you're not familiar with what shiplap is, I cut mine really deep, that way I don't have to fight with it. But you cut a ribbit, I guess is what they call that, all the way down, and they lap over one another. Now I didn't mean to get that much of a gap, but it's not going to hurt anything. And this end, it isn't pretty right now, but I'm going to come back and I'm making some molding out of this blue stain stuff that's going to cover probably about 3 to 3.5 inches all the way around the doors and the corners. So that's what the wall looks like so far.
Join us next week as we head up to the prairie to get just a little bit of wheat and also have some winter fun with some good friends of ours. We are busy here at the homestead preparing logs for projects, for firewood, or for sale to help bring in more income on this busy homestead. One of the things that we will ask every week is please subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps this channel more than you can know. Thank you for watching, and remember, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right.